So today, two episodes as usual, one of which is probably one of my favorites, and the other of which I have almost no memory of, probably absolutely zero memory of, even from attempting to rewatch the whole series a couple of years ago. Um, Not a difficult thing to do, but somehow I failed. But the first one, Future Boy, which introduces spelled C-Y, the cyborg, and also Simon uh, Cardenas, um, a time traveler. They're both time travelers, but Simon is a human time traveler from San Francisco, just like the Porters, and the cyborg, is an alien from Mizar 3. Is it called Mizar 3? And the printed text on Wikipedia is much easier to read than my notes, scribbled notes. Um, I don't know if they're both from the year 2062, probably. But in 2062, Simon is aware of the aliens. He mentions having taken an elective class or something about alien life, and and so they didn't fall through the purple portals like the porters did, like the knight Sir Balin did, and I think like Krista did. Um, they're interdimensional, intertime travelers, and I guess the cyborg is his own, like it's his thing. It's what he does. The kid Simon, he borrowed his father's time belt, and he wears a futuristic reflective sort of suit that I guess is a time traveler. He looks like his title's called Future Boy. He's from 2062. He looks like a guy from the future. He's wearing the silvery reflective unitard, and he's got a utility belt that beeps and blinks. But he still has a camera that's not his phone. But he did seem like he looked up. He he knows a bit about the aliens, but he had to look them up when the porters asked, "What is the cyborg?" He had to look them up on what seemed to be like a flip phone type of thing. Um, so like an iPhone, but he had to flip it open, and I think it still had buttons. It was really more of a Pokedex. Um, but anyway, uh, the cyborg is, I think, my favorite monster of the series. I think he's only in two episodes, and this is the first one. I love the way that he roars. It's got kind of an echoey, like he roars, and then there's an echo of his roar that comes at the same time, or I guess the echo would be shortly thereafter. But it's an echoey roar, and he he's like he's got this, like he's a cyborg, so he's part machine. He's got this thing that allows him to see things on, I guess infrared is the word. Let me go back to the Wikipedia thing. Um, See in the infrared spectrum, and but I guess he was manufactured because what the Pokedex says is that he was recalled, that his model of cyborg is out of date, uh, and that there's a problem with the infrared sight. But occasionally, the view, the point of view, the viewer is from his point of view from the robotic eye, and it's really cool. At least, and it was cooler then for me. It was like the first time seeing on the infrared spectrum or seeing what that would look like. Um, but he's also intelligent, so it's not like Scarface with a robot head, but still a mindless brute. Um, when he confronts Future Boy, I'm not out of order instead of the story this time because I want to talk more about Cyborg. Um, when he confronts Simon, uh, he wants the time belt, and he just stands there and points at it uh, to indicate what he wants. They don't speak the same language, but he is intelligent. Um, I guess they when they're figuring him out, they call him bigger, meaner, and smarter than Scarface. Um, and as sometimes happens in movies like this, happens in Jurassic Park 3, in order to establish how cool he is, they have him beat up Scarface. In Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus battles with the T Rex and wins. The T Rex, I think, dies, but Scarface does not die. Scarface can't die because there are only 5 dinosaurs in the Land of the Lost. They need them. And he's even got a cool footprint. So they, oh, and at one point, I forget exactly what prompts this line, and it's a line I definitely didn't get as a kid. I might not have gotten it when I rewatched this episode recently, but they're talking about how dangerous he is, and Kevin, I think, is the one who says, "Call Sigourney Weaver," which is, of course, a reference to Ripley from the Alien movies, who she's got a thing about being able to defeat giant, dangerous aliens. Also in Galaxy Quest, she's up against a race that's really more like the Spung or the Sleestaks. But call Sigourney Weaver, great line, great reference. I did not get it as a small child, but definitely a great thing. It's a great episode. So how did they get there, Future Boy and Cyborg? In case I didn't already say, apparently they crashed into each other in the, let me read this, in the time-space corridor, and that landed them both in the Land of the Lost following a dimensional shift. And I forget exactly what needs to happen that takes 6 hours, but Future Boy can't go back, even though he's got the time belt and his still works, unlike the cyborgs. He can't go back for 6 hours. Something's got to happen. It's got to reboot or something. I don't know. But it gives him time to spend some quality time with Annie, who is feeling very depressed and like she's just a child to her father, which she is. She's 11, and the episode opens. Well, the opening shot is a brontosaurus standing right next to the treehouse, which is a great shot just for the scale of the dinosaurs, which you don't get to see a lot for scale because they're usually moving pretty fast, and it's very obviously like they're superimposed from having been done in stop motion, but just the brontosaurus standing still next to the treehouse is a great shot for scale. Annie was apparently trying to swing like Krista does. I don't know if we've seen Krista swing on vines and stuff, but she does, I guess. And Annie was trying, and she fell, and she busted her arm a little bit, and her father is winding it up in a bandage, and yeah, she's I'm not a little girl, and she runs away, and she meets Simon, who just appears out of nowhere, which appears out of time, and yeah, then the cyborg appears as well, and they start asking questions about what is this cyborg thing. It's huge, it's ugly, it's dangerous. Kevin, meanwhile, he gets in on the action eventually, but it's an Annie story. But we first see him, he's sunbathing with Tasha, and he says, not worried about the ozone here. And again, it's another thing kind of like what he said when they were at the beach, where not worried about pollution. It was the line at the beach, and now he's tanning and not worrying about the ozone layer, which might or may not be true because they're not in the same. It's not like they're back in time. In their time, it's a different dimension, so it's similar to prehistoric Earth, but not. But still a great line. Let's see. And Simon, he bonds with Annie over he feels like his father barely pays attention to him. Her father is overbearing. It's that sort of episode. And Annie also, part of introducing Simon to the world of Land of the Lost is imitating Krista's Tarzan call while swinging in, wearing a kind of a Peter Pan-ish outfit or a jungle outfit made out of leaves, and she pretends to fight with Stink. And Future Boy has not met Stink, so he thinks that Stink is a wild animal. And he's confused by that there are dinosaurs there. He really doesn't. He's really yeah. So that's the story, and then they go back to the treehouse and they learn about the cyborg, and then Simon, or I think Tom, is off to try to find something. I forget what it is, and he says to Simon and Annie, two little kids, stay in the treehouse. Simon does not because he wants to go and get ready to travel back to his time, which is again 2062 in San Francisco, where they have shortened the word stupendous to pendus. And he, of course, meets the cyborg who's been tromping around and wants the time belt. His camera that's not a phone, even though it's 2062. Before they all divide up, they take a group picture with this little camera that looks like a futuristic version of a camera from the 70s or 80s, or I'm no expert on camera history. A very old camera, small camera, and while they're in the treehouse looking up the thing, they find out that he's recalled because he's extra sensitive to light. So when he is confronted with the cyborg, Annie has found him because she's worried that he doesn't know his way around the jungle, and Tasha is there too because Tasha needs to be. The cyborg picks up Tasha. I think this is the first time we see Tasha as a stop motion thing, just hanging from the cyborg's hand. And again, like I said, the cyborg points at the belt. He's intelligent. He's not Scarface. And Annie says, lay down the belt so that he'll give back Tasha, but give me the camera. And so Simon lays down the belt. Cyborg tosses Tasha away, but Tasha is made of rubber and just bounces right back, not hurt too badly. And then Annie uses the flash of the camera, to back the cyborg off a cliff, resulting in a very fun to watch cyborg falling and twisting and turning as he falls down into the canyon, the gully, the gulf. Meanwhile, the T-Rex wakes back up. So the T-Rex is fine. The super strobe is what the flash is called. So the episode ends shortly thereafter. But we know that Simon has said that he wants to help the Porters because he feels like he can travel interdimensionally and through time, so he might have the resources to get them back to San Francisco in their own time. But not this time, because he's got to go back home and work it all out. But it's a fun detail that if the show had lasted longer, maybe would have played out more. So that's the episode of these two that I really liked, and I'll say a little bit now about Siren's song, which starts with Tom dreaming about fighting off Shung and Scarface at the same time to protect his wife Natasha, who we know from the previous beach episode. We've known all along that she died, but from the previous beach episode we know that she died in a car crash 2 years before they found themselves in the land of the lost. So they're back at the beach. Nakami is hanging out with them. He helps put up a tent. Krista is in the episode solely so that she can walk out of the waves in her bathing suit, and Tom can look at her and think he sees his wife walking out of the waves in a bathing suit. And then she runs off to what she describes as the next valley or something. I forget what. She appears and disappears very quickly. Kevin introduces Nakami to earphones and music, and then they start playing volleyball, and I think it's Kevin who tells Nakami to spike the ball, and he does, and it goes way far away around some rocks, and Annie chases it and then disappears, and she disappears for a while. Tom chases after her. He finds the ball, but he doesn't find her, and when they're looking for her, Kevin is attacked by a small triceratops. But Nakami gets between Kevin and the triceratops and growls at the triceratops, and I guess he's animal enough that, and he's also been there, he's a native of the land, so he knows how to deal with the animals, and the triceratops goes away. We actually find out that he doesn't trust the dinosaurs, and he doesn't like Tasha. He calls Tasha a Thunder Lizard. Now, Tasha is the cutest dinosaur, I would say, in any media, and then as I'm saying that, I'm remembering that the Land Before Time movie exists. So, but I'm going to stick by it for now, that Tasha's the cutest dinosaur. But so that's how Nakami plays in here. Nakami is played by the same actor who plays Shung, so he appears as both of his characters in this episode, which is fun. I think he's only credited as Nakami in the end credits, but that went too fast for me to notice. So the family, they camp out on the beach waiting for Annie in case she comes back, and then they gradually are lured into the cave where Annie is by some sounds, and they find someone who looks like Natasha, Natasha Porter. There's strange music, kind of like, or similar, not really similar to the music that Opie plays on the flute. It's more similar actually to the sounds that the kind of alien sounds in the Animorphs TV show. That's what it reminded me of. But this is the music, because it's a Siren song, that lures them all into the cave, where it is revealed Tasha is immune to the sounds, and I think Nakami is too, but Stink is not. So they're all in the cave, and then a dragon pops out. There's Natasha's form, and then next to her is this kind of like giant hole type thing, and out of the hole pops a giant serpent, and Nakami fights off the serpent, which frees Natasha turns back into her true witch form, and it is revealed that she was a witch who was beautiful, but she cared more about her beauty than her family, and that is why she was imprisoned by the serpent. And yeah, you can see I didn't find this episode. It's a cool puppet. The serpent is a cool puppet. I liked the makeup on the witch, but as compared to Future Boy, this episode didn't offer much to me. But again, as I keep saying, season 2, a lot of delightfully weird stuff, and the witch and the serpent, nice and weird, but not like a larger scale. And she ultimately, with the serpent defeated by Nakami, she is free, and as soon as the Porters and Nakami and Stink are out of and Tasha are out of the cave, we see a beam of light escape the cave and go up into the sky, and that is her. Let's see. I don't think. Oh, Tasha is immune. Tasha and Nakami are immune, and Tasha, I think, is somehow helpful to Nakami here. I don't know, but he ends the episode liking Natasha, even though she's a adorable little thunder lizard. So that's those episodes. And the next episodes that I will watch, let me scroll back down. In Dinos We Trust, which is one that I remember very clearly. Annie in Charge, which is one I don't really remember, but it is another one that has to do with the cyborg. So we'll see if I do remember it ultimately. As Krista would say, peace and love.